Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're breaking down a highly ambitious, honestly almost sci-fi sounding pitch from a company called OTTIMEDIA. They are claiming they can transform global office towers into giant digital billboards, completely revolutionizing the skylines of major metropolises. It's a huge swing, so let's dive right in. To understand exactly how they plan to achieve what they say will be an $8 billion valuation in just 5 years, we're going to deconstruct their pitch deck step by step. We'll hit 1. The office building crisis, 2. The LED facade solution, 3. The upfront advertising model, 4. Unprecedented financial projections, and finally, 5. Opportunities for stakeholders. All right, starting things off with Section 1, the office building crisis. Let's look at the very real issue grounding this whole pitch. OTTIMEDIA anchors its entire business model on a massive global problem. The source material points out that demand for office space is basically collapsing right now, thanks to the rise of AI and a huge shift toward remote work. Operating costs for large corporations are going up, while global office space utilization is plummeting. It's currently sitting below 30% and is projected to keep trending downward. The pitch emphasizes that property owners are kind of ignoring this crisis and that traditional recovery methods, what they jokingly call traditional miracles, are completely failing to provide sustainable revenue. So, they argue, the market is desperate for a radical solution.
Which brings us to Section 2, the LED facade solution. Here is where OTTIMEDIA introduces their wild answer to this real estate crisis. Instead of relying on trying to fill these buildings with traditional corporate tenants, OTTIMEDIA proposes wrapping these largely empty towers in ultra-thin, intelligent LED video walls. They literally want to turn the physical structure of the building itself into a massive, profitable media hotspot, acting essentially as an enormous external TV monitor for the surrounding city.
Now, you might be wondering how that works for the people inside. The pitch defines this as intelligent LED skin technology. We're not talking about old, clunky billboards here. These are high-resolution, transparent, smart LED video walls. They're designed to be installed on 1 to 4 sides of a building in a major metropolitan area. And because they're transparent, they don't completely block the light for whatever tenants might still be inside. It really acts more like an intelligent skin broadcasting digital content outward. But OTTIMEDIA claims it doesn't just stop with the foot traffic walking past the building. Taking it a step further, the pitch outlines that these facades will actually have integrated live cameras. These cameras will capture and stream the advertisements in real time. Through a dedicated website, viewers can register for free on their PC or phone, and OTTIMEDIA projects this will distribute the content to over 100 million viewers globally. Basically, the screens market themselves by being broadcast live to the world.
Moving right along to Section 3, the upfront advertising model. So how exactly does a giant transparent screen generate cash? Let's take a look.
OTTIMEDIA claims a massive competitive edge when it comes to pricing. For context, they point to a 2,400 square meter wall in Times Square, New York, where they state Google pays $2 million for just 1 month of advertising. By contrast, OTTIMEDIA plans to charge between $200,000 and $500,000 for an entire year of advertising. The source explicitly claims their rates are 120 times lower and 100 times more efficient than similar competitors, which obviously makes it incredibly attractive to advertisers.
Now, here is where the cash flow mechanics get interesting. They don't just offer lower rates, they demand highly favorable payment terms. Advertisers actually have to pay for the full year in advance within just 7 days of starting their campaign. Because of this massive upfront cash flow, the company projects they'll break even within just weeks of operation. Furthermore, they state that once a facade is fully booked, those advertising rates will increase by up to 100% each subsequent year. And on the technical side, they claim to have a proprietary app that lets you update hundreds of ads daily with a single click. Section 4. Unprecedented financial projections. With that highly aggressive business model in mind, let's look at the financial projections they are presenting to potential stakeholders.
Yep, you are reading that right. 3,000%. The source material claims a staggering 3,000% return on investment per facade within just the first few months of operation. They explicitly state that while major companies struggle for 5 to 30% returns over years, their model hits 3,000% almost immediately.
To put that into total revenue perspective, based on their goal of installing these screens on 30 facades in their first year, they projected global revenue ranging from a minimum of $180 million up to a maximum of $900 million right out of the gate in year 1.
Ultimately, OTTIMEDIA says they are seeking an initial starting capital of $30 million. With that, they project reaching a company valuation of a massive $8 billion within 5 years.
They are confidently labeling themselves a future true unicorn startup made in Europe.
So what is the roadmap to reach those staggering numbers? The pitch outlines a very specific 4-step execution strategy. Step 1. Secure capital to immediately buy out their LED manufacturer at roughly half its actual valuation, about an $8 million company, which nets them 3 specific patents. Step 2. Use that acquisition to apply, via a lawyer, for a $30 million European Union fund, which they claim will be 60% non-repayable. Step 3. Use those funds to install the first giant LED wall, larger than 2,000 square meters, in a top global location, citing Mumbai or Delhi as examples. Finally, Step 4. Rapidly scale by adding 30 new facades worldwide every single year after that.
And finally, Section 5, Opportunities for Stakeholders. To execute this massive global plan, OTTIMEDIA knows they can't do it alone. They are actively pitching 3 distinct groups: building owners, real estate agents, and early investors. For building owners, the proposition is incredibly lucrative. They promise up to $30 million in payments for facade access in major metropolises. But it's not a free-for-all. Owners must submit highly detailed building metrics to even qualify for this transformation.
To turn their empty tower into a high-yield digital asset, owners have to prove the location has the high-traffic visibility necessary to attract those upfront advertisers. They're required to submit current occupancy data, the exact physical dimensions of the facade in meters, and crucially, the daily visitor frequency range for every single side they want to wrap in LED screens.
If a building is approved, the promised rewards are substantial. Property owners receive a base rental of at least $200,000 per year per facade, with an automatic 20% bump annually. They also get $200,000 in free advertising, plus a 20% commission for any ad clients they bring in. Real estate agents are heavily incentivized too. They can earn a $40,000 brokerage commission per facade, which means up to $160,000 for a 4-sided building, and are offered the chance to become a salaried branch manager for that location, complete with a dedicated budget. Finally, for the early financial partners who OTTIMEDIA calls the first smart stakeholders, the pitch claims exponential short-term profits. They state that an initial investment of $420,000, which buys a 1% stake, could yield a profit of $2 to $5 million in just 6 months. Fast forward to 24 months, they estimate that same 1% stake could be resold for a profit ranging from $45 million all the way up to $80 million. The source document insists that because of their upfront payment model, this venture is practically without any perceptible risk.
Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway. OTTIMEDIA is pitching a future where the failing commercial real estate market is saved not by filling empty desks, but by turning the buildings themselves into transparent, globally live-streamed advertising hubs. They are projecting unprecedented returns and zero risk. But it leaves us to wonder, based on everything we've just unpacked today, will wrapping our empty city skylines in glowing LED screens really be the ultimate multi-billion-dollar savior of commercial real estate, or is this vision simply too bright to be true? I'll leave that for you to decide. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and we'll see you next time.